How would you describe your art? And maybe tell us a bit about your career. How long have you been doing this?
I would say, I mean, like everybody else in this room, we're all artists when we're young. I just refuse to grow up. Professionally, about 12 years, I think, is what I would consider when I started doing gallery showings and stuff like that.
And then here you are right now. You've been on a North American tour. You're just back from Key West. You were in Tampa, San Diego, Austin, Toronto, Las Vegas, Miami. Here you are back in Edmonton. What's that been like for you, and what sort of a reception have you been seeing in these global cities?
Yeah, it's amazing. I grew up in Abbotsfield, so I didn't even know that world existed. So it's always a shock when you come to these cities and you're doing TV and you have people showing up and your work affects them. It's still a little bit of a shock to me. I thought I was going to be a hockey player.
Wow. Were you like me? You blew out your knee and then the career was over?
No, I was no good.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I was never injured. I was no good either. We are so grateful. You donated a wonderful piece. It's on display. I can see people at the back of the room looking at it right now at the silent auction table. It's called Welcome to My Breakdown. Can you tell us about this piece that one collector is going to take home today?
Yeah, so this piece is... when we were going through COVID, I'll give you the short version, because if I go in a long version, we'll be here all day, because once I start talking, I don't stop. So that statue actually sits in my office. I won't get into why it's there, but it's there. In 2020, when we were all going through COVID, I had complete renal failure in September of 2020. So in addition to going through COVID, me and my wife Ray were also going through some health issues. So I ended up on dialysis for about 11 months while my friends and family all rallied and got tested. Ray ended up being a match and saved me like she does every day. She donated her kidney to me. It didn't go quite as planned. So we ended up going into about a 9 or 10 month period of surgeries and health stuff. So we ended up in a 2-year fight with the kidney disease and the kidney transplant that didn't go as planned. We came through that like troopers. We had no issues. We were very strong through that. I had about 5 days after my last surgery where I had a clean bill of health. And then on the 5th day, I got a call from my doctor and he says, we got this test back and your blood work's a little off. We think your disease may have come back. Luckily enough, it didn't, but those words were all it took for me to spiral into my first ever mental health episode. I knew nothing about mental health before that. I fell on some really black days. I know that throughout the mental health awareness campaigns that I didn't try to hide it. I went to Ray and I asked for help. And I noticed, I started doing, we attack the mental health like we do with everything, with a vigor. And as we went through that, I found what helped most was just talking to other people. I talked to ladies who've been through postpartum, and every time I left those conversations, I always felt a little bit better. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, there's hope. So as I was going through that, I was in my office. That statue was staring at me across, and the Alice Cooper song that came out in 1975 called Welcome to My Nightmare started playing. In there's a line that says, welcome to my breakdown. And at that point, I was like, well, this is kind of a way of continuing conversation, of putting it out there, getting to do stuff like this and talking about it. But even my shows, when I go to my shows and I tell this, people automatically, whether right there or they take me aside, they talk about their mental health and it helps me still. I don't ever feel like I'm through what I went through. I always feel like it's kind of hiding in the shadows. So it's almost like a little therapy session for me when I talk about that piece in front of people. So that's kind of where it came from. The darkness is not meant to be as heavy because of the mental health stuff. But like I said, I paint rock and roll. What can I do? Well,
it's a stunningly beautiful piece. The personal connection to it and the story behind it is absolutely wonderful. It's an original, one of a kind. Can you tell us, for people, obviously I'm going to encourage all of you, especially the collectors and people moved by his story, to go ahead and bid generously on that painting. Somebody's taking it home today. But for people that would like to see other pieces of yours and maybe purchase more of your art for their own walls, where can they find it?
Yeah, you know, all the social media I'm on there. Stickman Fine Art, stickmanfineart.com. The key there is to put fine art, because if you just type in Stickman, you're just going to be a whole bunch of Stickmen all over the place. So I do like the guerrilla advertising I get from that, but other than that, yeah, you got to put in fine art. You're just going to find a bunch of minivans with families on them.
Well, hey, listen, I've got a huge amount of respect for people that'll get up in front of hundreds of others and talk about their mental health journey and act as an encouragement for each one of us, and also create some incredible fundraising opportunities for worthy charities. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in showing our gratitude and our respect to Trevor Stickle of Stickman Fine Art.